Hey guys, Kevin Nazer here again with another Cannonball update video. Hey, some of my friends told me that in order to get more people watching my videos, I have to use clickbait. And I said, well, what's clickbait? And they said, well, that's when you put a cute girl on the cover of your video so people will click on it and watch your video. So here's a picture of my granddaughter, Mavis. She's the cutest girl I know. She's showing us her toes, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, I'll also tell you that I have another picture embedded in the video. If you watch the video, you're going to like that one. It's not a Mavis, but it's another cute picture. So hang in there, watch the video, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. She's a little sweet pea. Anyway, so yeah, another Cannonball video. Another kind of technical video. I'm going to talk about linkages this time. All right, the 1916 Indian. Instead of using Bowden cables for the handlebar controls, they used linkages. It's kind of cool. Not that Bowden cables hadn't been invented yet. They were patented maybe 20 years before this motorcycle was made. But for whatever reason, the Indian engineers decided to use linkages rather than Bowden cables. And it's one of the cooler features of the bike and some of the other bikes of that era. One more thing, thanks to those 16 new YouTube followers, a few more followers, and YouTube says they'll let me have custom URL rather than the mishmash of alphabet soup I've got right now. So if you like these things, go on YouTube and subscribe. And either way, leave me comments, criticism, whatever. I love that. So stand by. We'll go out and shop and look at the So we're going to start off by showing you what this mechanism inside the handlebar looks like. I've got an old original one over here. So if you look at this, this is the sleeve that the rubber grip slides onto. This rod goes through the straight part of the handlebar. Okay, about like that. And then you can see this flexible series of links would go through the curved part of the handlebar and exit through a bushing here. Okay, then on the outside of the handlebar, you can see that this little U-joint section pins to that flexible section and has this tube attached to it with these little ridges stamped into it, and the ridges actually protrude into the inside of the tube. Okay, then, so those little ridges inside that tube will then engage with slots in this other part to make a sliding drive shaft. And so when you slide this thing together, right, it can extend, so that when you turn the handlebars, it can extend, and I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, so what you have to do is, if you're replacing these metal bushings, you got to think about where this stop is going to be. Okay, this stop comes into contact with this little stop here. Okay, so that's going to limit the travel of the device, how far your throttle opens, how far it closes. So pretty much what you got to do is put that at about a 45-degree angle to the back and down, sort of pointed at that radius on the frame. But before you pin it, okay, once you put it in, once you fit it and put it in, it gets pinned through a hole here. But before you actually pin it, before you actually drill the hole for the pin, put it on there and try it and make sure your linkage works okay. All right, now, so this part goes into that bushing. You can see it has a little notch here and a slot. And inside that bushing, where you can't see it, there's a little pin that when you put this in, it'll pass through that slot, through that notch, and engage that slot. So you just have to put that in and just turn it until you find that sweet spot and it goes in, okay? So now if you turn it to stop, it can't come out, right? It's in that slot, okay? Now when you assemble it, we gotta find it, there we go. When you assemble it, you have to, put this little extendable drive shaft together first. Right, then you can put it in, turn it until it drops in. And you can turn it with twist grip too. And of course, they always go easy unless somebody's watching. Okay, so now that's in. So now if I back up, you can see when I turn the twist grip, that little lever moves. And if I turn the handlebars, right, that can get shorter and it can get longer. So I can still operate the throttle while I'm turning the handlebars. Pretty slick, huh? All right, here's the second cute photo that I promised you. This is Cat, the amazing shop cat. And she loves it when I throw an old jacket on the wrench drawer for her to lay on. Now, we talked about how this all works inside the handlebar and how it hooks up. And so this left hand grip and linkage operates the carburetor linkage. Okay, so this is the carburetor linkage here. Now, notice that, get a shot down here now. Now notice when this moves, only the one arm moves, okay? When I move this one with the right twist grip, it moves one on the right and one on the left, okay? So that one goes across through this casting, operates the magneto and the compression release, but the carburetor linkage just pivots on its own, okay? So that goes to that little lever, and there's a little pin. Can you see that at all? There's a little threaded pin, right? It's got a slotted head, and important thing to notice is in the tail end of it, there's a hole that's maybe 1/16 of an inch diameter. I think you can see that there. So, important thing to know, you thread this in, right? Get it lined up, engage the threads, and then normally it would have had a cotter pin on the backside. I tend to use some 032 stainless steel tie wire, safety wire. Just easier for me to work with, but one way or the other, you need to make sure that thing has a pin or a wire, because otherwise it will vibrate loose, it will come out of there, this thing will turn to the right place, it will fall off, and you will have no throttle. You'll be operating the throttle with your hand down on the carburetor. Don't ask me how I know that. Okay, so carburetor linkage, pretty simple. Can you kind of pan back so they can see the whole thing? That's pretty much it. The carburetor itself is right here, okay? So you turn the left twist grip, it operates the top lever, moves the bottom lever, moves the carburetor. And it only moves this one lever, right? So that's that. Now what you gotta notice is this right here is your compression release. Now watch how, when I push that down, that exhaust valve tab, it comes up. That's how the compression release works. Okay, so when this is all together, this twist grip, if you turn it, for starting, you will turn it all the way towards the outside, right? And what that does is it retards the magneto, and it opens the exhaust valves for the compression release. Then as you kick the bike over, you turn that twist grip, it closes the exhaust valve, and it advances the timing, and the engine starts. So what this does is it retards the timing, and it releases the compression so that you can kick it over, get the flywheel spinning, and then as you kick it over, you pull back like that, advance the timing, and at the same time, allow the valves to work, and the engine starts. Just so it's clear, we got a slip fit on the compression release, right? Don't brace that up. This rod is going to bend around behind the exhaust the exhaust pipe of the front cylinder, right? Goes up to this yoke here. Here, take this. The top linkage is actually the pin through that yoke, okay? So this slips over the arm, the linkage goes through it, and then again you get a cotter pin or a safety wire on the back side. All right, I'm gonna call that a wrap. It's over 10 minutes. I hope it was helpful. If you got questions, shoot me a comment. I'd be glad to help. Otherwise, be safe out there, be kind, and God bless America.